This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm talking about how to calculate and track your net worth over time. And today I really want to focus in and explain what I view are some of the key benefits of calculating and tracking your net worth. Many people don't do this unless they have a pressing need, like they're applying for a loan or something, and then they have to collect all this information just to give it to the bank or whoever. Well, we want to do this for our own personal tracking and evaluation of your financial position over time. Okay, so the first benefit of knowing your net worth is simply awareness. They say knowledge is power, and knowing your net worth and the detailed breakdown of your assets and your liabilities or your debts, it helps you to know exactly where you are financially at this time. It's a picture of your financial position at any single point in time. And there's a reason why any well-run business maintains an updated balance sheet. A net worth statement is essentially a balance sheet, except it's not a business, it's your personal net worth. And so the businesses, they use their balance sheet to make financial decisions. They use it if they're trying to raise capital, maybe they're trying to get a loan or they're looking for investors. They need that information in the balance sheet, and it tells you a lot about the quality of the business, the direction of the business. Are things improving? Are they getting worse? And you can see that over time as you look at the current balance sheet, compare that to previous balance sheet. The same thing is true with your net worth. We want to know what your financial position is today, the complete picture, because then you can use that to set some financial goals and some realistic goals. And that would be the second benefit of knowing and tracking your net worth, is that it can help you set realistic financial goals. So if you think about what is something that you want to do maybe the next 1 to 5 years, maybe you're going to make a major financial decision during that time. Maybe you want to retire in that time frame. You could be planning, a major home update or remodel. Your car could be getting to the point where you're going to need to replace it soon. Or if you're like me, you look at lakefront property on Zillow and daydream about owning a lake house with a boat dock. When you know your net worth, you can set better goals that are realistic. Am I going to be buying that $3.4 million lakefront house in Idaho that looks perfect? Not anytime soon. I don't know why I don't do this, but I just generally search for lakefront stuff and it pulls up insane things like a $21 million property. I should really just narrow down my search to what would be a bit more realistic rather than drooling over something I will never have. So that's not going to happen anytime soon because it's not realistic. First of all, I'm probably not going to buy a second home. I've talked about this on the podcast. Maybe someday I might change my mind, but it's not in the cards right now. I don't know why I look, actually. It's sort of a waste of time, isn't it, if I don't have any real plans? But then I look at there's like $174,000. If you go on Zillow, hopefully it's still there, $174,000. It is a tree house in Seattle. It's in Seattle proper, which is wild. I mean, it is a tree house. It looks like it's about to fall down. There's no indoor plumbing or anything, but there's recliners and stuff. And there's a little mini kitchen. I suppose if you were single and wanted to basically live outdoors with no heat, that would be a pretty sweet deal in Seattle. It is also lakefront, by the way. $174,000 lakefront in Seattle. Where are you going to find that? That one might be more realistic. Am I going to buy a tree house in Seattle? Definitely not. But beyond that, there are lots of other benefits to knowing your net worth. In my opinion, the biggest one is also the last one, and that is that knowing your net worth helps you to prepare for life's unexpected and inevitable curveballs and emergencies. My 10-year-old daughter, who was actually on the podcast a couple months ago, she went to the ER on Christmas Eve. She was very sick. She was getting worse, actually. At this point, she had been sick for about 10 days. She had a stubborn fever. And I called her doctor because she had these rashes and hives on her body. And she looked gray, her skin was just bad. And so we called her doctor and he urged us to take her in to see somebody. But because it was Christmas Eve, urgent care was closed. The doctor's office wasn't open. So off my husband went to take her to the ER. By the way, I was sick too. I was actually sick in bed with whatever she had as well. I'm still waiting for the bill, but knowing that we had cash to cover bills that our insurance wouldn't made the situation a lot less stressful. I could just focus on her health and not worry about what the cost would be. Knowing your net worth will help you understand how much of your assets are liquid and accessible for emergencies versus how much are tied up in investments. The last thing you want to do in an emergency is be forced to sell something, especially at a loss if you're selling like some investment or something. You could have most of your net worth tied up in illiquid investments like a house or other property that can take months or years to sell. And if you don't have liquid assets and cash to balance that out, that is also problematic. So you could have a really high net worth, but because of where that net worth is, it could actually not be a healthy thing. So the last thing you want to do in an emergency is sell something or not be able to sell something, and then you're taking on more debt. Now, knowing how much you have in each type of asset and taking action to have, the right mix of cash for emergencies, but not too much cash, that's going to help you to keep the right amount of money locked up, invested so it can grow, as well as having enough cash for life's inevitable emergencies. So you're not having to go into debt. You're not having to worry about selling something illiquid or at a loss to pay for whatever the emergency is. Now, your net worth statement allows you to take stock of, is your emergency fund keeping up with you? If your income is growing, many people just will spend more. And we want to avoid that trap because when your income increases, you should also increase your liquid savings for emergencies and your other savings too. Like if you get an increase in your pay, you should be saving more for retirement. Now, you don't have to save every single penny. You can spend more, and spending more is okay too. But if you make $200,000 a year and your balance sheet looks like a broke college kid's, that's a problem. Or you have no cash or not enough cash, adequate cash relative to your income for emergencies, that's also a problem. Another reason why knowing your net worth helps you plan for life's emergencies is that it can give you peace of mind and it helps you to be more resilient for things, not just medical things or when you have to take someone to the ER, but it could be a loss of job, a death, especially the death of a spouse, a divorce, medical bills, a house fire. These things happen. And resilience is all about having the right amount of insurance for your current net worth. That's a key component as well. So I'm not just talking about life insurance here. You think of homeowners insurance, disability, health insurance policies, umbrella policies. If you last reviewed your insurance coverage many years ago, you probably are underinsured, especially if your net worth and your home value have increased over that time. So the goal here and what a net worth statement or a snapshot is going to tell you, how prepared are you for these life unexpected and inevitable curveballs that we all face from time to time? So rather than just burying your head in the sand, this brings awareness and it helps you to better understand what you might need to do to improve your financial stability, improve your resilience. All right, if you want a copy of my free downloadable, fillable PDF worksheet to track your personal net worth, go to truenorthra.com/net worth. That's truenorthra.com/net worth. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Mitchell, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.